Mofo typos. Typos, yo.
Cat love dreaming.
Hello, my lovely
Peach.com.
peaches. Happy Saturday. It is Saturday, November 30th, 2024. I just got home a little bit ago from, my sister had basically like a flea market where she was selling her handmade jewelry. And so I was hanging out with her and my mom, and my sister-in-law was there, and my niece came, and yeah, so that was really fun. It is very cold outside, and I just got home, and my kids will be home from their dad's in about an hour and a half. So anyway, I really thought I would just jump on and do like a quick part 8 about the JonBenét Ramsey. And last night at like 5 o'clock in the morning, I did like a part 7, because I was thinking about how some people blame her brother Burke, and I just wanted to capture my thoughts before I went to sleep. So I just wanted to kind of go over that again, but to clarify a little bit, because I was like half asleep and talking not super clearly, in part because I'm trying to avoid saying certain words that I feel get struck down. So I'm going to read what I want to say, and then I'm going to not speak the words that I don't want to say, but you can read them. The autopsy said that JonBenét died from... She had been struck and had a very bad bleeding, blunt force head trauma wound. The autopsy said that she died from, and not from, they were able to determine that, and that she had defensive marks on her neck, and under her fingernails there was DNA that she was trying to get the rope off, so she was still alive while this was happening. Okay, so they were able to determine that, this wasn't what ended her. So for me, the idea that her brother Burke had caused this injury and that she was bleeding, but she wasn't DEAD. And then her parents would just finish the job, so to speak, meaning to do this to her. It's an absolute insane theory that I find completely ludicrous and baffling that anyone would even consider it as a viable option. The idea that any reasonable person would M their child because their other child had injured them is just outrageous. It's outrageous, in my opinion. So when Stephanie Harlow was on Kendall Rae's show, it was a 2 years old show, but she literally suggested that the 9-year-old had, and that John and Patsy Ramsey just assumed that JonBenét was why wouldn't they check a pulse? You're telling me that they wouldn't check a pulse, but then somehow they realized that she wasn't, so they finished it? It's just like the idea that they would actually go to the extent of doing this to cover the fact that their other child had injured her but not actually done this. so they, like, it's just so dumb to me, and it's just making me angry because Stephanie Harlow and Kendall Ray are two prominent true crime people, and there were many things that seemed like red flags and potential this happening to Burke as well as to JonBenét. I was disgusted about how Stephanie Harlow discounted this. There are many things that children exhibit as symptoms of having been this. Oh, look at that. I like highlighted it. Having been this. And emotionally neglected, emotional incest. Absentee parents. I put all these comments that didn't belong there. And especially if one or both parents care more about appearances and the seemingly being perfect, or the perfect family, the perfect kid, than actually deeply caring about what that person, giving a crap about what your child actually feels, what they actually need, what they're going through, what they're dealing with. Taking the time to build up their self-esteem because of who they really are as a person, not how they look or how it appears. And it seems as if those particular parents, John and Patsy, were not doing those things. At least it seemed like that on the surface, and even with some deep diving, it does appear to be that way. That these parents were not giving the kids what they really needed. So obviously I'm making assumptions based on some of the facts that are out there. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Kendall Ray and Stephanie Harlow did a lot more deep diving than I did, and they're privy to information that I'm not, and therefore I'm the one who's the fool and outrageous and ludicrous for not even assuming that a 9-year-old special needs child who clearly had emotional issues as well could have the force. First of all, why would he have, like, what's the motivation? Like, you're going to seriously suggest that your sister taking a piece of your pineapple is going to put you in such a rage that you would violently like, it just doesn't make sense. There's no motivation to me there. Where as far as the parents go, what's the motivation? Well, you've got an autopsy that has shown evidence of ongoing SA. And they said that it's the evidence showed that she was SA'd close to the time of her death, as well as like scarring from previous times that had happened. And while they couldn't say how many times or how long, how many years it happened, they were able to say it was ongoing. And that's a reason right there to do it, because you want to hide that. You want to cover that up. Then, the fact that there wasn't, let's say, semen, that doesn't mean, like, I feel like Stephanie Harlow's excuse, like, she said something like, well, there would have been more DNA if it had happened, even though they literally said it had happened, and maybe he got interrupted before he could finish, and, or maybe there was like, the reaction was overwhelming and it was loud, and so that's why there was duct tape on her mouth. A garret. So, to me, beyond the abilities of a 9-year-old, I just feel like everything points to the parents. The note in the house, it was the paintbrush from the art set that belonged to Patsy. It was Patsy's pad. There was no forced entry. The exact amount of money that very few people would know of his Christmas bonus, which was very low because they were $6 million millionaires, $118,000. To me, everything points to the parents, and they got away with it. Patsy died.
Thank God.
CatLoveDreamingPeach.com.